half over, pretty much half over. And let's start with an update on the track connecting the Anderson Civic Center with the YMCA on 81. Looks like the Civic Center side of the expansion is well underway. Any idea why they started on that end?
Yeah, I think it was a decision to make, but I think that was the easiest one to make that connection. And if you ride by there, you can see that, I mean, the path is already been graded to a large degree. And if you look past the movie theater at that creek, you can see they're working on that bridge right now. And then they'll carry it up to the Civic Center. There'll be about a 200-yard gap, and the county is going to fill in that 200-yard gap, so it will be a seamless transition. So we've got that going on, and then they will jump wholeheartedly to the other side. And right now they're on schedule, maybe just a tad ahead of schedule. So we're very excited about that project. And a lot of people are excited about that project.
Another example of how the East-West Parkway has become a incredible...
It's an incredible tourist attraction. It's an incredible fitness attraction. It's beautiful, and it just shows Anderson off in a beautiful, wonderful way. And connecting the Civic Center, the sports complex, to 81 is wonderful. And when the city moves full tilt on their trail system inside the city, I think that's just going to add to it and enhance it. And I think it's just going to be a wonderful system of trails.
Yeah, it's amazing the East-West Parkway has not just become a road, but it's become an exercise and a connection between the two sides of town.
Yes. And also, not to forget, but we attended the dedication about 2 weeks ago of the Bubblegum Trail in Belton, and we're real proud of what the city did and the Belton Alliance and all of those partners, and very proud of the part that that Anderson County Roads and Bridges got to participate in that project. So that trail is going great guns too, and we're very excited about that for the city of Belton.
Well, that trail has exercise stations and a lot of artwork. And
Yes,
other
it
things
does.
In addition to just a walking track.
Yeah, so it's pretty, and it's getting very well used, and we're happy about that.
All right, one of the biggest things since last time we met is County Council approved the new budget. Has to be, in my 30 years or whatever, it has to be the earliest I've ever seen a budget passed.
Well, council decided that with everything going on and all the brouhaha and everything passing, that instead of waiting until June 30th, why don't we jump on the budget earlier? We're coming out of COVID. We're getting a pretty good handle on where we are. We think we can do this. And so let's do this. Let's knock it out, get it out of the way so we can concentrate on the upcoming year. And as you know, it doesn't include a tax increase. So that's always a good thing. So there's no tax increase from Anderson County in the budget.
The budget's always made public, but it's not always easy for people to understand. What are some of the things in the budget that people are going to notice, things you are spending money
on? Well, we're still continuing our upgrade of all our computer systems, which is going on right now. And other things are probably what people can see as some of the recreation projects that we're involved in. And those are going full force. As you know, one of them is we're working on a park at the museum. With that back parking lot, the one that is up the hill, we're going to turn that into a nice park, and I think that's going to be beautiful. So that was included in the budget, and we've already begun preliminary work on that. Some work at Green Pond, a lot of work at Dolly Cooper, and one of the biggest things is we have now collected the monies necessary to do the major expansion at Kid Venture, and that will be a project between Anderson County and the city of Anderson. And the city of Anderson is putting a large sum of money into that project. So it'll really be a city-county park, and it will be the only completely ADA park in Anderson County. So I'm real excited about that, and a lot of other people, because COVID slowed us down on that, and it's time to get it going. We're in the final engineering drawings right now, so that's going to be something that's really big. Plus, other things that we have going on throughout the county that you'll be able to see. I mean, one thing you can't see is we have to spend $500,000 on a new elevator for the new 32-year-old courthouse. So that's something you won't see. Plus, we have some renovation work that's going to go on here in the historic courthouse, and that's going to be around $800,000 that we're going to do here. That's really a 2-year project. So those are some of the things that you're going to see. One of the most important things you're going to see is the Sheriff's Department will add 5 new deputies. And so we're always happy when we can put more people on the street. And the Sheriff's always happy when he can put more people on the street. So that's been a blessing. And a lot of other things like that. But again, no tax increase. But because we've had growth in the county, we're able to do some of these things. And as always, Anderson County runs lean. We try not to be mean, but not real top heavy, not a lot of chiefs, and we have a lot of dedicated people who work for this county.
And 2 things there. One, I don't remember at least a recreation project that the city and council, I think the city you said they put a lot of money in their budget this year for it, that y'all put this much money in together to work on. Is that true? I mean, for a recreation project?
Last time that I can imagine the county and city working together was probably 30 years ago or 25 years ago when the county put money in the park, Miss B's Park. And that's the last time that I can remember. But again, the city has always contributed $100,000 a year to capital improvements out at the sports complex, Civic Center complex.
And some of the other things like roads and bridges, there's a lot of that visible. People can see that money being spent.
Yeah, well, we just finished the Owen Family Farm Bridge, so we did that. And as you know, we do all our bridge work in-house, which saves the county tons of money. And we know it's a good job because we're doing it, so we opened that one up. But
That's not common either, is it?
No, it's not common at all. But we have a crack crew who knows how to do that. That's what they do. And we can jump on it. And still, we getting materials right now for just about anything in America because of COVID, slows some things down. But we have a good crew that does that.
And things people don't see, I had somebody ask me about this the other day about why so much money being spent on sewer and wastewater treatment. I said, there's no option there. You have to do these things.
You have to do it. We just completed the Well Pine Sewer Project. Very happy about that. We're fixing to do the rehabilitation of the 5 Mile Line, which is the backbone of the sewer system going in the north part of Anderson, the backbone. So we're going to do 2 phases of that. We are also doing several other sewer projects around. And as I've said before, those are multi-million-dollar projects, but as soon as you do them, you bury them. And then no growth can occur without sewer lines, no substantial industrial commercial growth. So we're preparing for the future. We got about $40 million in needs, and I think we're going to be able, through astute budgeting, the quality people we have in our environmental engineering system, we're going to be able to accomplish a lot of those things. And finally, we're getting extraordinarily close to putting sewer at exit 14, and now we're even looking beyond that to go up to the 2 exits north of that towards Atlanta, and possibly we're going to reach out to Oconee County and see if they want to do something jointly up there, because there's some nice mega sites up there that would be very attractive to some mega industries.
Yeah, that could be, that really, the potential for on and off and room out there is one of the few places
Yes.
that's not that cramped in.
Yes.
At the end of the last council meeting, Anderson County Council Chairman Tommy Dunn made a comment about the challenges of zoning in the county. Why do rezoning and zoning issues seem to take up so much time for council?
Because there's so much growth and so much activity occurring, and you're having growth occur in areas where it hasn't occurred before, and people are saying, well, we don't want that there. But if that area is not zoned, and it just falls under land use regulations. So it's an education process on zoning, and zoning in Anderson County is an organic process. The people in a certain district, they have to do a petition in order to get it on the ballot. The last one we had was to zone the Powdersville area. They failed to get the number of signatures on that petition to allow it to go on the ballot. So more education along those lines, because growth is not going to stop, but zoning is a tool to control it and angle it and move it. And only part of the county is zoned. Only part of Greenville County is zoned.
And you and I are old enough to remember, like, right after Home Rule, that was a big fight then, and they just shot it down and shot it down for that
And
first
shot it
decade.
down and shot it down. I remember when we first instituted in Anderson County basic land use measures. Basic. And that was a struggle. But then it's progressed from there.
Well, and people forget that schools and roads and sewer infrastructure are critical parts of those. And some of the towns, like Pendleton has already had a moratorium on high-density housing developments.
Mhm.
And I think, to some degree, Anderson County has talked about some of those being, at least where they put them, in county council meetings.
Well, they've talked about that. The only other place I know where they're discussing impact fees right now is School District 1, Powdersville area. And they've commissioned a study to look at placing an impact fee on new development in that area. I mean, you have places like in Fort Mill, South Carolina, where that can be $15,000 and more per house. So the county's not discussing that. They haven't talked about that. Some people have mentioned an impact fee, but I don't think it has any support in the county at this point in time.
Are there areas of the county other than, obviously we talk about Pendleton, Powdersville, Piedmont, now as it moved over into Pels or anything with a P in it, that are where the challenges are the biggest? Are there any other places other than those areas? The whole.
No, but that growth that's in Powdersville is coming down to Piedmont. You can see it right now, and then it's going to go to Williamston, Pelzer, and West Pelzer. You can already feel it in Belton. Okay, you can feel it, and then it's going to go to Honeypath. But also at the same time, you're fixing to see growth going down 81 towards Star and Iva. We're already getting requests from people who are interested in doing development down there, and we have some nice industrial projects that are looking to go down there that would be compatible to that area, really nice and very compatible with that area. So you're seeing it taking place just about everywhere.
And that area's got a lot of room to grow and a lot of
of
nice
room to
land
grow.
that's inexpensive right now.
Inexpensive land, and we have infrastructure there.
We touched on this when we first started, but with summer here, I want to talk a little more about recreation. The county maintains, people don't realize, more than 30 parks in
Yes.
some way or another. And let's just start with the Dolly Cooper Park. You were a participant. You had a kayak in the water at the recent Saluda River Rally.
Mm-hmm. The world's smallest kayak.
And how you drew that card. But remind people why that Saluda River Rally and that what's new along the river that thanks to the work of Matt Shell in Anderson County.
Well, we talked before. We've purchased land, the county has, right at the dam in Piedmont, and working with Representative Wes Cox and Councilman Jimmy Davis, we are looking for grant funds to develop that. So you can put in at Dolly Cooper and have a really nice takeout right there in downtown Piedmont. But we're also working going further south. We go all the way to Belton now. But the purpose of that, it was started those many years ago, was to bring attention to the Saluda River and what it can do, and it could be an economic development engine, but we also need to maintain it and take care of it. And after all of that, after about 10 years, it is now reaching that point where that is going to occur. I have a meeting at 2 o'clock today about development in Piedmont. And so that river is finally doing what we knew it would do and what it had the capability to do.
Well, historically, it's been an important part of the county. First it was 150 years ago they were bringing in industry, but then it sort of lay dormant for a long time. Nobody did much with it.
Well, when the textile era came to a close, it kind of died. But you're having a lot of people interested in developing downtown Piedmont. And if you look what's going on in Pelzer, it's going gangbusters. And Pelzer, they're wide open. And Williamston's going gangbusters. All of those places are lit up. And what they need and what they want are rooftops, and they're getting rooftops. And when you get rooftops, you get restaurants, you get commercial activity, you get all of that. So all of that's happening there.
And West Pelzer's purchased land on the river to make a park.
Yes, they have, and they just received a grant from the Anderson County Legislative Delegation, sponsored by Wes Cox, to do something with that land. And since their mayor is Blake Sanders, who's a landscape architect, I'm pretty sure it'll be nice.
They can figure it out.
Yes.
Well, let's back up to Dolly Cooper Park in general. The improvements out there, they've turned a large, pretty much scrubby lot into a destination. Are you surprised how quickly and how much has been renovated so far?
It hadn't been quickly.
Well, it's
sped
up. It's really sped up.
In the last 10 years, we have struggled. We have identified money. Councilman Davis has made it a priority. Wes Cox has made it a priority. We've had assistance from Senator Cash, and yeah, we've been able to do a whole lot in the last 3 or 4 years, but I know Representative Cox is working to get us even more money for Dolly Cooper to add more things to it, because it is a destination. It is great, and every penny we put in that repays the county and makes Anderson County a better place to live. with that river walk, and we're going to extend the river walk. We talked about that yesterday because we have a ravine right there, so we want to extend it on there. And I'm even thinking about the possibility of a pier just dedicated to fishing, because a lot of people on those kayak launches we have, they're using them to fish, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. But maybe a pier dedicated just to fishing, I think that would be nice.
Not wonderful, you're trying to kayak, I guess.
Not wonderfully trying to kayak in the world's smallest kayak.
Right. Well, like I said, they've added the baseball field out there and the walking track and the new docks that are there.
Yep, are beautiful.
Are there any other things you could talk about the citizens might expect to see in that plan? Or?
Well, we need a playground out there, and we need permanent bathrooms out there. Nice bathrooms like we have out at Green Pond. And the bathrooms might be the next thing. That would be Councilman Davis's call. But bathrooms out there would be huge, because now we're generating enough traffic and visitation out there. From just people just wandering around and looking at the river, that we really need that. So that's probably one of the things we're going to work on.
It kind of seems to be falling into a little bit the template of, when Hartwell Lake changed everything in the area in the early 60s when they finished it up. It took a long time to really develop that as a recreation lake, and I know Tommy Dunn and you have talked about it took a long time for us to, but we mentioned Green Pond. It's sort of the shining example of what y'all been trying to do for
Here's an interesting story. They had the Bassmaster Classic out in Texas last week, okay? And they had an auction. And the prize that raised the most money was a trip to Green Pond. Now, I mean, this is out in Texas. And the buzz in Texas is about Green Pond. And as you know, our amphitheater is almost complete. Our new dock's going to be fabulous and fantastic, and some other basic improvements. So it's going to continue to grow, and it brings money into Anderson County. It brings a lot of money into Anderson County, and we're proud of that. But also, this week at the Civic Center at the Sports Complex, we had a Little League tournament that lasted until Tuesday. Took Wednesday off. Thursday night, we have a ladies softball tournament out there, which will go all weekend, and those people are from all over playing in that tournament. So if you see young ladies, and girls softball is close to my heart, but if you see young ladies walking around in uniforms, or moms and dads coming in to buy lots of Gatorade and things like that, or they're taking their kids to the restaurant, that's because of that softball tournament, and it will be packed.
I'm going to get right back to the Civic Center. I don't want to leave Green Pond yet. That amphitheater, people keep hearing us talk about it, but it's about ready to open.
It is about ready to open.
If you don't fish and you're not a swimmer and stuff, what will that amphitheater bring to the community if they haven't had a Green Pond before?
We hope to have concerts out there, and we're pretty sure that somebody might want to rent it for a wedding. And we're probably pretty sure that somebody might want to rent it for events. Of course, we'll use it during fishing tournaments, and it'll also be just a nice place to go sit on the amphitheater and read, or sit in the sun, or just wander around. You don't have to fish to go to Green Pond. We keep stressing that. You can just go to Green Pond and have a picnic. It belongs to you. So go out there and enjoy it.
And the amphitheater is it's the sunset view. It's pointed right at the sunset.
Yes.
So. Any other upgrades planned out there anytime soon?
Oh, we always have a list of things that we want to do up there, but probably be lengthening a dock and some more cosmetic features out there. But yes, we have a long list.
There are other boat ramps and facilities around the lake that the county has to take care of and maintain. Do you have any idea how many of those are county maintained?
Probably 4 or 5.
And the county's relationship with the Corps of Engineers has been pretty good, hasn't it?
We've had an excellent relationship with the Corps of Engineers. I mean, Green Pond sits on Corps of Engineers Lake, but people always need to remember Corps of Engineers land belongs to us. It belongs to the people of the United States of America. It's not somebody's private land. It belongs to everybody, and everybody should have access and the ability to enjoy it.
And one of those most visible areas that was announced last year, the shores of Asbury, has faced a lot of unexpected physical hurdles to get up and running. What's the latest you've heard on that project?
As of this week, they had some stormwater issue which has been resolved, and I know they're working 16, 18 hours a day. I know that. I do not think they're going to make their July the 4th opening date. As a matter of fact, I'd bet they're not. but they're working hard to get it open.
Still be plenty of summer left if they
Yes.
get it open.
Well, you know, it's summer here until October.
That's true. Yeah, at least. And of course, the other potential site and been enhanced for recreation and discussed at Five Forks has faced some reservations by citizens. County had a forum to talk about those concerns. Is there any update on the Five Forks?
That except for the boat ramp, that park is closed.
So just the boat ramps over
Yes.
there for now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the Civic Center. Let's go to the auditorium first. They've begun hosting concerts and events again.
Mm-hmm.
Is council pretty much pleased with how we're moving forward in booking? Because I know for a while we were sort of struggling to book acts at the Civic Center.
I think those days are gone, and right now we're looking at securing a stage for the amphitheater because we've been approached by national touring groups who want to use that amphitheater, and so we have several discussions going with them. But again, the Civic Center itself is used constantly. I mean, whether the sheriff's department's using it for training or ministers are meeting there, it's a community facility. We had a real nice concert about 3 weeks ago, and we've got other things planned, so it's getting a lot of use.
And is any updates on Celebrate Anderson? Have we talked about any?
Celebrate Anderson is well underway. We have got John Michael Montgomery is going to be the headliner. The young person who won Anderson Idol is going to open, and it wouldn't be Celebrate Anderson without the T.L. Hanna Jazz Band. And we're going to have people jumping out of airplanes. We're going to have bouncy houses. We're going to have food trucks. And we hope to have fireworks. But right now, if you're in the fireworks business, this is the best business has ever been. So, because I mean, everybody's outside and everybody's blowing up
I'm not
fireworks.
saying something in South Carolina because we're always blowing stuff.
We're always blowing up, but everywhere.
You mentioned the baseball and softball and soccer fields. We got the pickleball courts out there, disc golf. They all seem to be getting pretty heavy use. Anything else planned out there to continue to bring in?
Well, one of the things we're going to light some of those back fields, and we're going to do some more work on the upgrades. We're going to do some work on making the area more handicapped accessible, and we're going to be doing that especially around the soccer fields. And we're going to be doing some cosmetic work that desperately needs to be done all around there. So those are the things we've got going on.
Unemployment dropped again last month since last time you and I met. I think there's been 30-something million in new economic development projects. That's over 100 million since first of the year. What's new and coming up in the job market for citizens? I know there's a herb company coming.
There is an herb company coming, and yes, we've already had first reading on council on that. That's going to be exciting.
Not the kind of herb people think about.
Not the kind that you can smoke. Well, I guess you could smoke it, but I don't think it's going to do anything for you. But that's a fascinating project. But I mean, it's high-tech growing of herbs. You all go to the grocery store and you see the little thing of herbs. That's what we're talking about. And I mean, it's very scientific. They have fans that blow against the plants to strengthen the stems. So it's just fascinating stuff.
And those, you don't think about farming jobs being high pay, but those are pretty high paying jobs.
Yeah, that's maximization, high-tech farming, and those jobs pay very well.
Any other announcements that are close?
We have an announcement that is small in number on Monday at 2 o'clock at the Civic Center, and we will be having that announcement, and that will be a software operation. I won't say anymore because they don't want me to, but Monday we'll be talking about that. But that has dramatic potential. In a software company moving from the West Coast to Anderson, we think that's pretty significant, and it's cause for celebration.
And we've covered this over and over, but there are plenty of jobs. If somebody wants a job, don't have to look too hard. I mean, you're looking for a career job.
If you want a career job, now's the time to get it. If you finished high school, if you work hard, you can go get a job. Most of these plants you can get in on the bottom floor and work your way to the top, and they will send you to school and they will get you the training. It has never been a better time right now to go to one of these new companies or older companies and just get in and start, and you can have a lifelong career with the opportunity to grow, not just pushing a widget all day, okay? Something to do. So we're excited about that, and we have more jobs coming.
So let's shift gears a little bit. The moratorium on evictions is coming to a halt very soon, and the county has $6 million grant to help renters and landlords hit by the pandemic, and you partner with AIM to distribute that money. What's the latest on how that's going?
The report we have from AIM is about $100,000 a week now. We have ordered additional money. The word is getting out. We still have a hard time letting everybody know that you can have rent assistance, you can have utility assistance, and it is there, and we have plenty of money. But again, just letting everybody know what's out there. But the number of people utilizing this has picked up, and our great partners at AIM, this has just been a beautiful marriage, and it's working. And you don't have to lose. You don't have to be evicted, okay? You don't. And your landlord doesn't have to go broke because you can't pay them. There's a solution there. Call AIM. Take advantage of it.
And that's really going to probably pick up when the evictions start, which
When
is
the evictions
the next
start,
couple of months, probably.
yep. But you don't have to fear that. You can get caught up. You can get help.
You and I have discussed plans about moving some of the monuments down to the county square. Any movement on that front about getting everything moved down? We talked about like moving the monuments to firemen and other things down.
We are going to be cranking back up our fireman's monument because during COVID we put it on halt. We already have a beautiful design and probably going to start cranking that up back in about another month. And we're also still going to be working with the veterans on relocation of the monument that they have. There was some talk about moving it here, but now there seems to be some sentiment that the veterans want it out at the Civic Center in a prominent place, and I'm good with both of those. Councilman Sanders is kind of ramrodding that effort, but that's good.
Speaking of the square, any movement on the property?
No, none. Haven't seen anything that excites us. Construction costs are through the roof.
It's a bad time to build.
And it's a bad time to build anything, and that's where that is, and there's no reason for us to jump and make a 100-year-old mistake. But I will say a couple of other things. Tomorrow is going to be the car show returns to downtown Anderson. So today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday the 19th, and the car show returns. So I want to tell everybody about that. And on Saturday at 6 o'clock at Wren Park, the Juneteenth celebration is going to occur, and there's going to be talk about Juneteenth, but also about the lynchings that occurred in Anderson County. There will be poetry, there will be dance. Loretta Holloway will be there to sing. So that'll be at Wren Park at 6 o'clock.
And that's the Equal Justice Initiative.
Equal Justice Initiative, yes it is.
And you and the mayor of Anderson, a lot of leaders are involved in that project.
Yes.
And that kind of County Council finally has a full slate again.
Yes.
Welcomed Mr. Glenn Davis for his first full meeting. What's your impression of Mr. Davis after the first?
I like Mr. Davis. I think Mr. Davis is, from what I know and what I knew previously, he's a fine man. I mean, he worked at Michelin for 40 years. He's been involved in scouting forever since time began. He has his own driving school, and I just think Mr. Davis is going to be a fine addition. And I think he was welcomed with open arms by members of council.
Yeah, and I think that district's glad to have him somebody on board again.
Yes.
There was a mention at one of the council meetings a couple times ago that there were some things being considered to commemorate Miss Floyd and her work. Any updates on that?
Probably be something moving on that in about 2 weeks. But I will let Mr. Davis be the person to speak to that.
And what else have I asked you that people need to know about?
Well, we have brand new lights out at the airport. We're doing the work in the median. Forever and a day, that airport, the road into the airport was horrible, trashy, and it didn't look good. Now, we have brand new lights up there. We're going to be fixing the median so it will be prettier, and hopefully by the end of June, 1st of July, we will pave that road. So all of the efforts that we've been putting into the airport are all circling around, and the airport's looking really good. The traffic is really good. Brett Garrison's our airport manager, and he's a slave to detail and meticulous. So everything
Pilots have to be.
Yeah, pilot does, but he's doing a great job out there. But it's looking better and better and better, and it's going to continue to look better and better and better.
All right, now the real reason we meet every month is, and the reason people tune in is to find out about this update. In about 150 days, county's iconic Christmas tree will be up for the holidays.
Yes.
And it'll be up the weekend before Thanksgiving,
Yes.
and then go dark after Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep.
To be ready for the downtown tree lighting, which
Yep.
is December 3rd this year.
Yep.
Will there be any new decorations, any lights, anything noticed, or
Yes,
any
yes.
guess how much taller the tree will be?
It's growing. We check on it, make sure that grow light's on, everything's working, so it will be taller. And there'll be some new decorations,
New lights?
some new lights. So,
So how many years are we from catching up to Rockefeller? We hadn't figured, we done the math yet?
no, but remember, Rockefeller kills the tree.
True.
And then they drag it down and they put it up. And I love that. And I've seen that tree and that's wonderful. But ours, we don't kill one living thing.
And it's a good time to remind people how much it's saved the county over the last
Oh,
5
we've
years.
saved a lot of money.
And
No,
how
we
much-
spent a
how
little
quick it
money
is
on
to put up,
fertilizer, yes.
How much it is to put up. But if we ever do reach that height, then we'll have a tree that we can just continue to put up and
Yes, yes. And it'd be like Jack and the Beanstalk. It will go until it hits the clouds.
All right, well, the next time we meet, the days will be getting shorter, and we'll catch up then.
Sound like a plan. Thank you.